Good afternoon. I'm pleased to declare the 2012 commencement for the Quinnipiac University School of Law officially open. Please stand for the invocation, which will be delivered by Rabbi Rena Judd, University Rabbi.
May the source of all goodness enlighten you with wisdom and forgiveness, fairness and equanimity. May your actions be tools of enhancement for our neighborhoods and communities, our country, and the world we share. May the source of all mercy endow you with compassion, kindness, and generosity. May the excitement of the here and now never fade from how you perceive and experience the law. And may goodness and mercy follow you all the days of your life. And let us say, amen.
Please be seated. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the members of our platform party, which consists of our speaker, an honorary degree recipient, who you will meet in a few moments, university administrators, and the deans and faculty of the School of Law. It's now my pleasure to introduce Brad Saxton, Dean of the School of Law.
Good afternoon and welcome, everybody, graduating students, family members, friends, and honored guests. We are delighted to have you here. At this time, it's my privilege to introduce Dr. John L. Leahy, the president of Quinnipiac University, to extend greetings on behalf of the university.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to all of you on this wonderful day of joy and celebration. To our law school graduates, I extend my heartiest congratulations to each and every one of you. You should all feel very proud of your accomplishments and well deserve the recognition you are receiving today. The class of 2012 is arguably the best ever to come through the Quinnipiac University School of Law. And some of you already have accepted offers from law firms or judicial clerkships with some of the best minds in the legal profession. One of today's graduates, Joshua Scollins, helped garner the law school national recognition when in March, Josh was one of our law students who testified before the Connecticut Judiciary Committee in connection with Connecticut's death penalty. For this successful work, the Quinnipiac Civil Justice Clinic received one of the Clinical Legal Education Association's highest honors, the Award for Excellence in a Public Interest Project. Another of today's graduates, Michelle Mondra, served as this year's editor-in-chief of the Quinnipiac Law Review and received the Dean's Award for her exceptional service to the School of Law. I enjoyed working with Michelle in her role as a member of the board of Quinnipiac Center for Excellence in Teaching and Service to Students. I'm also pleased to recognize our very first graduate of the school's LLM in health law, Rolando Torres Rodriguez. Rolando will work as a legal advisor in Puerto Rico's Department of Consumer Affairs, and in addition plans to integrate health law into a law firm in San Juan. I also want to recognize your Student Bar Association president, Wade Luckett, who provided outstanding leadership and made some significant contributions in representing student concerns. The Quinnipiac University School of Law is advancing both in terms of academic quality and national recognition. These achievements are clearly a consequence of the exceptional work of our law faculty and the leadership of Dean Brad Saxton and our Dean of Admissions, Ed Wilkes. In the final analysis, though, a law school, like any other school, will be judged best by its graduates. And so, members of the class of 2012, we are depending on you to make the best use possible of the education you have received at the Quinnipiac University School of Law. You have already left a significant mark on our School of Law, and I have no doubt that you will leave an even greater mark on the world that awaits you. Again, my congratulations and best wishes to each and every one of you.
Thank you, President Leahy, and please know how grateful we are for the university's support of the law school. Well, welcome again to everybody, to graduating students in particular. Wanted to say, before I get started with my remarks, a special thanks on behalf of the law school and the graduates. Some of our graduates have made it through law school mostly on their own, but the vast majority of them have made it through with tremendous support and help from family members, from significant others. I'd like to give the graduating class, especially on this Mother's Day, a chance to stand and thank those out there who supported you guys on your way through. So, members of the graduating class, this is a unique opportunity for me. This is, as far as I can tell, almost certainly the last time that we will all be together. I had the opportunity to welcome you as you came in as a class. We were all together then. This is probably the last time we will all be here together, and it's very meaningful for me to have this privilege to address you. There are really three things that I wanted to do in my time. I wanted to thank you, I wanted to encourage you, and I wanted to give you the best advice that I think I can give you at this stage. But let me start with my thanks. This is a huge accomplishment for you. You all know how much work was involved in getting to be here and sitting and graduating today. We are very grateful for your hard work and for all your contributions to our community during your time here. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Encouragement. I've spoken with many of you over the last several months and over this weekend. Some of you have already settled into positions or have positions that you're starting quickly. Others are still looking for positions. I wanted to offer a couple of words of encouragement on that front. What we've seen in recent years is more and more employers are waiting for bar results, for better or worse. A lot of you have told me, I've got a position that looks like it's pending. They're waiting on bar results. So what we're seeing is many of the jobs are firming up as bar results come in a little bit into the fall time. The market also is turning around. It really looks like things are picking up. And so please, those of you who are keep looking, keep heart. It looks like things are getting better. And we have great confidence in you and the training that you have gotten during your time here and the contributions that you're going to make with the bar. So let me move to my last piece for you. And for me, I always think at this time, this is a very special moment for me, what is the best advice that I could possibly give to my colleagues who as they're going out? And so here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Close your eyes for a moment, and I would like you to picture yourself 50 years from now, 40 or 50 years from now. You are an older person at that point. And imagine yourself sitting there and having a conversation with a young person, 10, 12 years old. This might be a grandchild, this might be a neighbor, this might be just a friend from the neighborhood, and this young person is saying to, how was your life? What was your life like as a lawyer? And think of what your answer is going to be. Is it going to be, it was a wonderful life. It was a great life. It was a really good life. It was a good life. It was an okay life. It was all right, I guess. My hopes for you are it's on the front end of that. It was a wonderful life. It was a great life. It was a really, really good life. And then the next question this young person asked you was, well, what made it that way? What was it that made that such a wonderful life that you feel that you've had? Possible, the answer is going to be, I billed more hours than seemed humanly possible. Possible, the answer will be, I was able to buy many things, and many of them were very expensive, and I owned more of them than many other people do. Possible, but I think not. I think if you put yourself seriously with this exercise and that mindset, what would you be saying to this young person? What made it a wonderful life? And it's probably going to be those things that your intuitions are taking you to. I had great friends. I spent time with my family. I was a good parent. I was a good child. I was a good brother. I was a good sister. I was a good friend. I hope that you would be saying, I was a good, caring, and attentive spouse or partner. I hope you will be saying, I am proud of the work that I did. I did my work with integrity, and I did the best that I could with my work. I hope you will be saying, and I think you will be saying, I used the advantages that I had in education, the advantages that I had in talent and energy to try and be a leader and an aid to my community, to try and make my community better. I think you will be saying, I tried to live by my principles, by my faith, by my values. I tried to remain true to them in the face of pressures that sometimes wanted to push me in the opposite direction. And I think you'll be saying, I hope you'll be saying, I had a lot of fun. I made time for fun. I hope you will be saying, I laughed a lot. I made time to laugh a lot. We all know those are the things that make a wonderful life as opposed to an okay life or an all right life. So my advice to you, or my hope for you, is that you take this time now, at this singular moment in the progression of your life, to Give some thought to what you want to be saying 40 or 50 years down the road, when somebody's going to ask you, how was your life? And when you tease out those things that you think you want to be able to say at that point, those things that you think, those were the things that made this a wonderful life, commit yourself to them. You are going to have all kinds of choices that you'll be making in the years coming up. Keep that end game in mind, and keep the choices in mind that you want to make, because you have to consciously commit yourself to the choices to have the kind of life that you want to have. And I wish that for you with all of my heart. So let me close by saying one last thing, a request. This is not the end of your relationship with us. You are in the Quinnipiac School of Law family. We hope you will keep in touch. Let us help you. Let us know what you're doing. Let us know where you are. Let us know what you're looking for. We remain your friends and your allies in this search, and we will do everything that we can to help you in the future course. Our commitment to you does not end today. Let me finish by saying congratulations again, congratulations. Job very well done, and best wishes for the future to all of you. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite Justice Harper, Professor Dunlap, Senior Vice President Mark Thompson, and President Leahy to come forward.
Luby Harper, Jr. You were appointed an Associate Justice of the Connecticut Supreme Court in 2011, after a distinguished career that prepared you for the challenges of the bench. After earning your master's in social work at the University of Connecticut, you set out to help the least fortunate with the socio-economic obstacles they faced. You went on to learn a law degree from the University of Connecticut School of Law and practiced for more than 20 years, specializing in education law, litigation, municipal finance, labor law, and arbitration. In 1997, you became a Connecticut Superior Court judge. In 2005, you were elevated to the Appellate Court, where you wrote 224 opinions. During those years, you occasionally sat on important cases at the Supreme Court. In 2008, you heard one such case, Kerrigan against Commissioner of Public Health. You provided a crucial, decisive vote for the 4-3 majority opinion, in which the court held that the Equal Protection Clause of the state constitution guaranteed the right of marriage to same-sex couples. In addition, to volunteering in your community, you chair Connecticut's Commission on Racial and Ethnic Disparity in the Criminal Justice System, and you serve as Connecticut's representative to the National Consortium on Racial and Ethnic Fairness in the Courts. In 2010, the Prince Hall Scottish Rite Masons presented you with the distinguished Silver Eagle Award. And in 2011, you received the prestigious Edwin Archer Randolph Diversity Award from the Lawyers Collaborative for Diversity. In recognition of your steadfast devotion to justice and public service, the Quinnipiac University School of Law is pleased to confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws this 13th day of May, 2012.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, Justice Harper.
Justice Harper, you honor us by your presence here today, and we are delighted to welcome your guests, family members and guests who have joined us as well. On behalf of our graduating class and the faculty and administration of the School of Law, thank you so much for being here. Our commencement speaker, Justice Leahy Harper, Jr.
President John Leahy, Senior Vice President Mark Thompson, Dean Brad Saxton, Quinnipiac Law School Administration and faculty, graduates and guests. I thank you for your warm welcome, and I thank Dean Saxton for inviting me to address you today on this very joyous occasion. Dean Saxton, I want to begin my remarks by recognizing your outstanding leadership at this law school. One need only speak to a current student or a recent graduate to learn of the positive impact you've had on the students at the school and its mission. I thank Quinnipiac University for awarding me an honorary Doctor of Laws degree. I am humbled by this honor and proud to join the ranks of Quinnipiac Law alumni. I have spent my entire legal career in Connecticut, so I'm very familiar with Quinnipiac University School of Law. Having spent part of my career in the field of public education, I judge the quality of any educational institution by the skill and character of its graduates, and by the positive impact it has upon our society. I know many Quinnipiac Law graduates, and I have had many opportunities to observe them in the practice of law. They leave this school with the tools to be great attorneys. When I think about Quinnipiac Law School, two of my recent judicial law clerks come to mind, attorneys who ably assisted me during my tenure on the appellate court. Sean Hanlon, class of 1998, who was my law clerk for 6 years, and Nathan Buchak, class of 2010, who clerked for me immediately following his graduation. I am sure they would agree that I have very demanding standards for my clerks. I expected them to thoroughly research the assignments and to give me frank advice on authority issues that came before me. They did not disappoint. They impressed me with their ability and loyalty. I thank Sean and Nate for joining me at the ceremony today. I am pleased that several other Quinnipiac Law alumni have joined me as my guests today as well. Thank you for sharing your alma mater with me. I know, too, that graduates leave this law school having been encouraged to consider giving of themselves, to use their legal skills to serve the less fortunate in our society. Many of you already have served in various public interest positions and have used your abilities to serve the community. These efforts help our profession, our society, ensure that justice be readily available to all, regardless of their financial status or station in life. I wish to acknowledge a fine example of this type of efforts, the Yale Sabourin Memorial Fund, which funds law students interns from Quinnipiac, who in turn provide legal support to individuals and families with needs in the area of family law. A dear friend, Patrina Sabourin, helped to establish this fund in honor of her late husband, Yale Sabourin. I am happy that she joins me here today as well. I'm pleased to be among the first to congratulate all of the graduates. I am sure that as you sit here today, most of you are experiencing a mix of emotion. To be sure, there is the happiness that this day has arrived, the sense of accomplishment that comes with meeting a formidable challenge, and perhaps more than a little apprehension about the future. Graduates, today obviously marks a time of change in your lives. In ceremonial fashion, your career as a law student draws to a close. For the vast majority of you, the arduous task of studying for the bar exam will begin, perhaps sooner than you would like. I hate to break it to you, but studying for the bar examination won't be enjoyable. It is yet another obstacle to overcome before joining the ranks of new attorneys. So you have a game plan. Graduate, study for the bar examination, pass the bar examination, then what? A lucky few of you might have definite plans for the practice of law, but I suspect that many of you are wondering what comes next. We're living in a time of social and economic turmoil, the effects of which have touched people of every race and creed, and in every socioeconomic group of our complex society. We're living in a world that seems ever more complex and ever more dangerous. It is not a surprise that in such a time of uncertainty, people have come to question the institutions of government and their proper role in our democracy. As always, but even more in times of difficulty, people will turn to the legal system to vindicate their rights and protect their liberties. And make no mistake, as the past teaches us, the issues of our time will make their way to our courts. Against this backdrop, you are poised to become members of the bar. I'm sure that there are as many reasons for attending law school as there are graduates before me. Some of you might have applied to law school with the goal of helping others. Some of you might have applied to law school because you hope to excel in a noble and learned profession. And some of you might have applied to law school with the goal of becoming rich and famous. One of the truths about your new profession in the law is that it offers opportunities available in few other walks of life. For the law touches upon nearly every aspect of life. Finding your niche in the practice of law will be one of the first challenges you face, and you might soon realize that a typical legal career does not follow a set trajectory or a neat and orderly path. For those of you out there who have no idea what comes next, do not fear. Anyone who knows my life story will tell you that it was against all odds that I would be standing before you here today, an Associate Justice of the Connecticut Supreme Court. I come before you today not with answers, but some advice. Be willing to consider and to explore new professional opportunities in the law, and know the causes that interest you most. Listen to that voice inside you that draws you to a particular cause or to a particular area of the law. It is true that we do best that which we enjoy doing. It may not happen immediately, but if you remain open-minded, you will find that fit. A career in the law that not only provides material reward, but one that you find interesting in which you can use your legal skills and creativity to its fullest potential. And I implore you, do not be driven purely by the material rewards of a career in the law, become defined solely by your legal skill and acumen. Certainly, our demanding profession requires a great deal of time, skill, and effort. Don't let all of it go to your head. The best judges and attorneys that I have had the pleasure of knowing have been well-rounded people. They have had diverse interests and backgrounds outside of the law. Your new status and profession should be one aspect of a rewarding life. As you assess your career path, I urge you to consider whether you are spending enough time with loved ones, whether you find time to do other things that make you happy. Your interests outside of the law will give you the perspective to be a better attorney and help you through the hard days and long nights that go hand in hand with your challenging profession. It would be difficult to overstate the vital role that the law plays in both our system of government and our very form of government. At this point in our history, few Americans would question that the law has been a tool of progress. Still, one need only turn on the radio or the television, or perhaps talk to a family member or friend to hear the latest joke about lawyers. It is said that every good joke has a kernel of truth, and this should give us all pause. I believe that it's vital to the strength of our democracy that citizens have confidence in our legal system. The legal system is not limited to judges and courts. All of you, as new attorneys, become part of that system. Regardless of the nature of your career in law, all of you, as attorneys, will have a stake in how our legal system is perceived. Think about this. Your conduct as an attorney can inspire confidence in how our legal system operates, or it can be fodder for yet another joke about lawyers. You leave this ceremony not only with a newly minted law degree, but with an unblemished reputation in the practice of law. Trust me, your reputation is every bit as valuable as your degree. Protect your reputation in every aspect of your professional life, whether in your interactions with clients, judges, other attorneys, or in your written submissions to any court. Consider the ethical obligations that attach to any representation to the court. Strive to be known as someone who advocates strongly for his or her client, but is never dishonest. Strive to be known for professionalism and excellence. These are not abstract concepts. They demand thorough and honest research, close attention to detail, and doing the right thing. We all know what it means to cut corners. Today marks the end of hypothetical fact patterns on law school exams, and soon you will come your involvement in real disputes. From now on, the fact patterns will be those of your clients. Cutting corners may mean deficient representation, or worse, a misrepresentation to a court. Now, it is said that lawyers are overly concerned about their reputation, that they like to impress others. This calls to mind one of those lawyer jokes that a friend recently emailed to me. It goes something like this. A young lawyer starting up his private law practice was anxious to impress new clients. On his first day, he saw his very first client walking through the door to his new office. He thought fast and picked up his phone, and he began speaking into it. Yes, I'm swamped. I will not be able to look into your case for at least a month, and then I will get back to you. I have got some very high-profile cases on my desk right now. Hanging up the receiver, he turned to the man who entered his office and, with a satisfied grin, said, "And what can I do for you?" "Nothing at all," replied the man. "I am from the phone company, and I'm here to hook up your phone." So do not try too hard to be impressive. A reputation as a good attorney is not something that you can fake, and it won't be yours overnight. You will find yourselves in the role of advocating or advocates, vigorously acting in your client's best interests. Your representation will mean that you assert their legal rights. Strenuous advocacy, however, does not overshadow your obligation to the court before which you practice. Become familiar, very familiar with the rules of practice in your jurisdiction. Pay close attention to the rules of conduct for attorneys. The rules of conduct, however, are only a starting point in your professional activities. Distinguish yourself by demonstrating civility and fairness as you advance your client's rights. The courtroom is a battleground of sorts for the resolution of legal controversies, but it need not be marked by hostility among attorneys. As someone who has spent time on both sides of the bench, I can tell you that attorneys do not favorably distinguish themselves by gaining every tactical advantage or intimidating others, but by coming to court prepared, having a superior knowledge of the law, and displaying respect and courtesy to others. So exemplify strenuous advocacy on behalf of your clients, excellence in your professional work, and civility. These attributes will lead to a professional reputation of which you can be proud. Do not sell the honor you have achieved today or the reputation for integrity and strong character that you create in the years to come for any client or any fee. I urge you to embark upon your new career with a sense of pride marked with humility. You have great tools, but also much left to learn about the complexities of the practice of law. Ask whether you are making a mark upon your profession that will become the butt of lawyer jokes, or that will help you to restore it to a place of esteem in our society. By doing the latter, you will encourage others to view the practice of law and its place in our system of government with respect. Finally, as the festivities of today are underway, I urge you to take pride in your accomplishment. You know the sacrifices that are common to each of us who has achieved a law degree, the countless hours studying, the financial expense of law school, and the time spent away from loved ones. Also call to mind the sacrifices that are uniquely yours. A law degree is difficult to attain. This wasn't easy. Appreciate this accomplishment that came from all of your hard work, and let it encourage you to accomplish even bigger goals in your professional life. Think also of your family and loved ones, whether or not they join you here today. I dare say that none of you has reached this milestone without some measure of support from them. Think about the parent who encouraged you to stick with it after a rough semester, or the friend who never complained when you missed getting together because you had to study. Appreciate the fact that your achievement is a source of pride for those who have supported you. Take time to thank those who have stood by you in a meaningful way. To all the new graduates, I wish you every success in your future endeavors. Do yourselves and this law school proud. Godspeed to all of you.
Thank you very much, Justice Harper. Again, we appreciate so much your being here today. This time I would like to introduce Associate Dean David King, who will be presenting the graduating students.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Will the candidate for the Master of Laws in Health Law degree please come forward? Rolando Torres Rodriguez. Take the beat.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, Rolando Torres Rodriguez, the degree of Master of Laws in Health Law, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, Rolando.
The graduating class has selected as their hooders my colleagues, Professors Alexander Mickeljohn, Linda Meyer, and Jeffrey Meyer. Will you please come forward to do the honors? Will the marshals please bring the candidates for the Juris Doctor degree forward? Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to present to you the individual members of the class of 2012. Daniel Wade Luckett. Annie Muldowney. Stephanie Elizabeth Cummings. Alyssa M. Tornberg. Heather M. Wright. Lawrence Gregory Tamaccio, Jr. Joshua Scollins. C. Alexandra Buenaventura. Stephen Carter Gillette. Kara J. Summa. Kristen D. Losey. Kyle Timothy O'Hearn. John T. Spalding. Kevin Patrick Smith. Sean M. Owen. Amy Lynn Salamito. Heather Elizabeth Rolfus. John L. Cicerone. Samuel Salvatico Saltman. Misty Ray Persifield. Ian Means Airgood. Amanda Barkley. Sarita Patel. Alana Tynan. Jonathan Fan. Jacqueline Barbara Corsilius. Jennifer Warner Cooper. Being hooded by her father, Jay Cruikshank, class of '99, Katie Cruikshank. Michelle Elaine Monderer. Mary Beth Gordon. Aaron E. Canalia. John Michael Mastracchio. Eugene Efimovich Gluzgal. Elise Carol Greer. Tyler A. Raymond. Matthew Anthony Trileglio. Kylan Derek Johnson. Jordan M. Richards. Dennis F. Putala II. Edward Robert Landino. Matthew Albert Musano. Michael L. Sekas. Michelle Marie Zulaski. Maya Rachel Lurtzman Sivkin. Kyle Lanning. Robert Tupper Resendez. Catherine A. Phillips. Christopher J. Damati. Jessica Bruno Vetter. Brittany Busola Paz. Nicole Ann Vino. Michael Richard Sawicki. Mitchell T. Tata. Donald Meehan. Philip D. Milks. Being hooded by her mother, Perry Swaniger, class of 1983, Alyssa Swaniger. Michael Patrick Lynch. Philip J. Medalina. Richard John Rapice. Brian Vincent Altieri. Thomas Stephen Groth. Corey D. Shug. James Andrew Rocco. Wordy Sampson. Mallory S. Hine. Jessica J. Butkaris. John M. Duza. Timothy James Prevo. Charles Miller. Dieta Catherine Roncone. Matthew George McGoldrick. Christopher E. Giotis. Taryn Marie Porzio. Daniel John Papaga. Maria Del Pilar Gonzalez. Jennifer Barbara Smith. Nicole Lynn Ridolfi. Christopher Michael Katsimaglis. Noelle Nicole Altan. Christian Michael Gunnison. Elizabeth Ann Lamora. Andrea Nicole Moffett. Francis P. Camarano. Amanda M. DeMattis. Evan Matthew Bernard O'Hara. Danielle Reed Niederbuhl. Maureen A. Fallon. Martina Ann Schmilewska. Eric Kevin Furman. Clarissa C. Matthews. Heather Cole Genovese. Alana Suzanne Hassel. Katie Marie Factor. J. Michael O'Neill. Sean Hamill. Stephen C. Koss. Fawad Khan. Terrence John Brunau. Michael Ackley Hespeler. Sarah Elizabeth Jean Richwine. Robert Lawrence O'Brien. Robert Sheehan. Dennis Mark Durao. Thomas P. Banas. Jasenia Nicole Vargas. Louis E. Fiala III. Lisa L. Farmer. Toby R. Gilbert. Jennifer Leah Amdur. Kelly Elizabeth Davis. Jane Elizabeth Hamilton. Michael L. Miller. Elias James Peterson. Michael Hanna. Christopher A. Kleps. Sabrina Ahmed. Amanda Brooke Schaefer. Prerna Rao. Alexander Kopp. Daniel P. Schofield. Jesse Costa. Jonathan M. Sousa. Jennifer L. Carney. James Edwin Creighton Seward. Mario Kenneth Cerami. Stella Santova Giordano. Judy Lynn Marshall. Marissa F. Michaud. Mary Elizabeth McKenna. Sarah Barbara Weirnow. John Humphrey. Michael D. Levine. Brian C. Young. Virginia Hihon Camaño. Courtney Dillon. Kristen Michelle Marcroft. Ren Cruz. Julie Ann Broder. Michelle Cook. Leslie Faith Light. Jasmine Rodriguez. Virginia Marianne Veneziano. Mark Turner Jones. Jonathan B. Hasbani. Will the class please rise? Mr. President, it is my honor and privilege to present to you the Quinnipiac University School of Law Class of 2012.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon all of you the degree of Juris Doctor with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of you.
Please be seated. It's now my honor and privilege to introduce to you the speaker who will speak on behalf of the graduating class, Wade Luckett, who is the president of the Student Bar Association. Can I just say, I just wanted to offer my personal thanks and also to let you guys know that being the SBA president is a difficult job, and Wade had the responsibility to represent all students, including you guys, to us, and frequently Wade would come to me with things that were of concern to students, and we tried to work through them together. That's not always an easy thing to have to approach the dean with areas where students wish things were being done in a different way, and Wade, you did it graciously and with poise and maturity and judgment, and he represented you guys really well. So I think, congratulations.
Thank you, Dean Saxon. Sorry I jumped the gun on that one. President Leahy, former Dayton man, thank you. I'd like to first wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day today. Most especially my mother. I know that we wish Frank were here. He's here in spirit. I'd also like to thank my family who traveled all the way here from Nashville. I think it goes without saying that without them, I would not be up here today. I'd also like to wish an early happy birthday to my roommate, Annie Muldowney. Happy birthday. Well, you've heard from a Connecticut Supreme Court Justice, you've heard from the Dean of the Law School, and now you get to hear from a former Pizza Hut delivery boy, Wade Luckett. I suppose I've come a long way from delivering pizzas in those ridiculous black jean shorts, though not too far. As you can see, I'm now standing before all you fine people in this wizard hat. This morning I was asking myself, why am I going to be giving this speech? As I'm sure many of you are asking yourselves the same thing. Because there's so many of you that have achieved so much in 3 years and more. And so I'm just humbled to be up here. So I'll say this as plainly as I can. I am so proud to be graduating with all of you today. I feel so proud to be graduating with such intelligent, hardworking people. I like to think of myself as reasonably hardworking, but some of you really have blown me out of the water. You really have worked your tails off. Chris Katzmagliese, Chris Gunnison, Evan O'Hara, Rob O'Brien, Michelle Mondor, Amy Solomito, Sean Owen, Betsy Lemire. There's so many people here today that have worked their tails off. It's over. You don't have to do any more outlining. You don't have to take any more notes. It's over. Just stop. I see you out there outlining right now. Cut it out. I'm so proud to be associated with such intelligent, witty people. People who have made going to school interesting in class and made going to school interesting outside of class. People like John Spalding, Kyle O'Hearn, and Larry Tamaccio. Thank you for making law school fun outside of class. But there were people who saved me inside of class when a professor would ask a question, and they would save the entire class. People like John Cesaroni in Professor Farrell's class. People like John Hesbani in Feigenson's evidence class. Dan Schofield every single day in civil procedure. The days that you weren't there in civil procedure were rough, Dan. Prina Rao in both of the classes I took with Dunlap. Last but not least, Alyssa Swaniger, thank you for throwing yourself on the sword in Professor Meyer's LPR class every single day. Thank you. I'm proud to be graduating with a group of students who are more than their GPAs. Law school is often thought of as a cutthroat place where people steal books and withhold outlines to gain an edge. But at Quinnipiac University School of Law, we don't do that. Here are some of the examples of what we do. We get our degrees while holding 40-hour-a-week jobs, while still managing to essentially run SBA with me, participate in various legal clinics, like Heather Wright, my roommate, did, and Kristen Losi. We help organize trips every year to Central America to, among other things, help local schools and universities develop their legal systems and legal scholarships, like Cara Summa. We fight endlessly for the First Amendment, traveling to conferences, going to Cato Institute, testifying before the Connecticut State Legislature like Mario Cerami. We take our competition teams to national competitions like Sarah Richwine, Robert Zendez, Mike O'Neill, Matt Charleglio, Mary Beth Gordon did for the Moot Court Society, and there are others. Like Alexander Bonaventura, Kylan Johnson, Alex Kopp, Stephen Gillette, Steph Cummings, Alyssa Thornburg, and it seems like half of our class did for SDR. Some of us go to these national competitions and still find time to testify before the Connecticut State Legislature to help Connecticut repeal the death penalty, like Josh Scollins. This is what we do. I'm excited to see what our future holds for all of us. And it would be a pleasure, and it would continue to be my honor to work with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Wade. Each year, the graduating class has the privilege of selecting one of their professors who will address them at graduation as the outstanding professor of the year, the professor who has had the most impact on them during their time at law school. This is a coveted recognition. This is a faculty that is extremely deep, as you all know, and people who are wonderful teachers, really committed teachers. So to be selected for this honor is a tremendous privilege. And this year's recipient of it is our own Professor David Rosette.
Thank you very much. Justice Harper, President Leahy, colleagues, and especially the class of 2012. At the outset, let me thank you for the honor of being selected for this award. It's a really humbling experience, given that I've worked with my colleagues for decades, and I know the depths of deserving candidates from whom you could select a recipient. Some of you may know that there is something of a tradition in this institution that the recipient of this award should sing his or her remarks. However, with distinct memories from my youth of having been physically removed from at least 2 choirs, and at least on 2 other occasions being told in no uncertain terms to just mime the words, there will be no singing from me today. Given that you will be leaving law school in difficult political and economic times, I was wondering what I could talk to you about. But remembering that this is Mother's Day, I thought I would talk to you about my mother. My mother was admitted to the bar in South Africa in 1935. To give you some idea of what a pioneering effort that was, you might remember that when Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg enrolled in Harvard in 1954, she was but one of 9 women in a class of 500. And each of those 9 women had to stand up in front of the dean and explain why her presence justified depriving a man of a slot. Although my mother was admitted to the bar, she never practiced law. My father would not allow her to do so because he believed that the practice of law defeminized women. The mid-1930s were also difficult political and economic times. The Great Depression had crushed economies around the globe, and everywhere the clouds of war were looming. My mother took her skills and her legal training and joined the South African Red Cross. And during the Second World War, she ran the entire foreign relations operation of the South African Red Cross. I believe that technically she was the only person in the entire country who legitimately could have direct dealings with the enemy. Then in 1944, after the Allies had invaded Europe and the Germans were in retreat, and the survivors of the Holocaust were starting to emerge from their attics and their basements and their cattle cars and their assembly camps, the great death camps had not yet been discovered. My mother, in her official capacity, approached the Prime Minister of South Africa, asking him to repeal legislation that prohibited the granting of immigration visas to Jews. He refused, and my mother, as a matter of principle, resigned her position with the Red Cross. At that moment, she was just 28 years old. The Prime Minister, I might add, was 74, a field marshal, and a future Chancellor of Cambridge University. As you now find yourself in difficult economic and political times, I am nevertheless confident that you, like my mother in the 1930s, will be able to carve creative, challenging, rewarding, and even exciting careers for yourselves. I'm equally confident that when the time comes, you, like my mother, will take a stand on matters of principle. On a more personal level, you may not realize it yet, but during the past 3 or 4 years, many of you have become our friends. In that vein, let me urge you to stay in touch. And as friends do, if you just happen to be in the neighborhood, drop in. Finally, in the same spirit, let me give you the only advice that at this point I feel truly qualified to give. As you move through life and develop your careers, take time to nurture your relationships with your family and your friends. At the end of the day, what you are going to find is that it is these relationships that are the only things that truly matter. So let me wish you luck, and once again, I thank you for the honor of this award. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rosette Enstein, and congratulations from all of us. That concludes our ceremony for today. I would ask the audience to stand at this time and the graduates to stand at this time and ask you to please remain standing. We do have a reception immediately following this that's up at the Rocky Top Student Center, just right up the hill. We hope that all of you and family members and friends and honored guests will be able to join us there. And at this time, I'd like to call forward Shamshed Sheikh, Muslim chaplain, for the benediction.
Please join me in closing prayer. Graduating class, I offer you these ancient words of blessings. May your heart be filled with intuition and words be filled inside. May your eyes shine with the light of kindness and compassion, and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips ever speak wisdom, and songs of praise ever be upon your tongue. May you know boundless joy and deepest fulfillment. May you be counted among those who bring healing and justice to our world. And may God, who is Rahman and Rahim, most kind and most merciful, help you, guide you, and protect you. Amen.